It's the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
The comfort of your favorite seat is now your comfy car selling command center, thanks to Carvana.
It doesn't get any better than this.
Your favorite seat's the best spot in the house. Make it even better by entering your license plate or VIN and getting a real offer in minutes.
There really is no place like home.
And speaking of home, Carvana will pick up your car from yours after you finalize your offer. Visit Carvana.com or download the app and sell your car from your comfy place.
We all have that friend who wakes up early to go get everyone McDonald's breakfast, while the rest of us sleep in. This is your sign to thank them. And if you're that friend, this is us saying thank you.
Just a friendly reminder that right now, get any size iced coffee before 11 a.m. for just 99 cents. And a satisfying sausage McMuffin with egg is just $2.79. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
It's another Saturday special of your daily source for fantasy hockey and betting breakdowns, the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast. And we got the Isles and Bolts on the brink. Dallas in do or die and a whole lot more. You know we're talking Leafs Bruins. Let's get this paper and let's tap right in.
You're Locked On Fantasy Hockey, your daily podcast on fantasy hockey.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Springtime hockey is popping off, and that's why you're back and locked right into your daily source. It's the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast. Shout out to the everydayers holding us down, making us your first listen every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends at Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and get $20 off your first purchase. Steele, oh my goodness me. Saturday specials. That means there's a lot to get to. So I'm going to try and keep this preamble short and sweet. We got a lot of places to get to. But the basic facts are the Isles and Bolts are on the brink. I think one of those situations is much more shocking than the other. Let's talk about them both very quickly because the Dallas Stars are in serious trouble here. You never want to obviously drop the first two games at home, but perhaps more importantly, where is their offense at, Steele? They're going up against the Cup champs. They got to dig deep. And we're going to save all the talking points in the world for Bruins and Leafs because, you know, I've been sitting on this now for a couple of days, Steele. Game 3, there was a lot to be said about what went down there and what is going on with William Nylander. My blood is already boiling, Steele. Saturday's bets, we'll get those off very quick. Over to you, my friend, like I always like to do. Isles, Bolts, both on the brink, seasons in the balance. But I think these Tampa Bay Lightning, have they just played too much hockey?
I'm not quite sure about that. And I am very surprised that they are down 3-0 in this position against the Florida Panthers. And I believe both of us had Tampa Bay in 6 or 7. We both had Tampa Bay winning this series. Mm-hmm. And I'm not surprised that, I'm not surprised at them losing this series. I'm surprised at them losing 3-0 and not winning at home, especially. And even those first two games in Florida, they were very close. Both games, Tampa Bay could have won if they had better starts. It was the exact same. It was the exact same repetition from the Tampa Bay Lightning game 1 and game 2. Slow starts, didn't get any shots on net until late in the first period, and at that point, again, it was kind of late when they lost by 1. So in game 3, again, very surprised that they lose to the Florida Panthers, such a strong home team. And Andrei Vasilevsky has played very, very well. Nikita Kucherov has been a little bit frustrated, especially in game 3. He looked very frustrated with the play of his teammates. Again, I'm very sad right now. I think it's quite over for the Tampa Bay Lightning. I'm going to leave my take for big time bets on what's going to happen in game 4, but
okay.
I think it's over for the Tampa Bay Lightning at this point. They're down 3-0. It's the Florida Panthers, one of the hardest teams, one of the best coach teams, and they've got a ton of stars in Matthew Tkachuk, Carter Verhaeghe, who's an OT god for them, and it is quite incredible that the Florida Panthers are doing this right now to one of the best teams in the NHL.
Well, I think it's time to fully cement the Florida Panthers as one of the best teams in the NHL as well, Steele. And last year, maybe we weren't buying into it as much, but perhaps we should have then. Because take a look at Matthew Tkachuk once again, putting his team on his back at the most important time of the year. And there were some times this year, Steele, fantasy-wise for sure, we were questioning whether we were going to see that triple-digit Matthew Tkachuk. The man still brings 80 points. But when you score 100-plus points in the fantasy realm, you insert yourself into that very elite tier of players that have a very high expectations. Now, he is exceeding them once again in the postseason, and his swagger permeates the lineup. That's number one for the Florida Panthers. Number two, in terms of the Tampa Bay Lightning, they just don't have the depth that they used to have, and it's no disrespect to the Nick Pauls of the world, and some of those other guys that they got down there, Tanner Jeannot and whoever. This isn't Andre Palat, Alex Killorn, and those beauties that carried them to multiple cups and cup finals. They just don't have the depth that they used to. I think they're really missing Sergachev. You also have Andrei Vasilevsky, Steele, and I know you're not sure about the mileage. I'm kind of sure that the mileage is racking up on Andrei Vasilevsky, who I know is not even yet 30, but he's close. And he had serious back surgery. He's seen a lot of rubber. We're seeing what it can do to other goaltenders around that age, Steele, and Connor Hellebuck. I'm just saying it might be a factor that's playing in here because this Florida Panthers team is also hungry and ready to prove that last year's trip to the Cup was no joke.
I don't think the mileage has been a factor, and it has been in the past, but I understand coming back from the injury, back surgery and everything like that, and he wasn't at his best in the regular season, but he's been at his best so far in the postseason in the first 3 games. I just think the Florida Panthers are clearly the better team right now.
Sure.
They start strong and they finish strong. They never let up, and Tampa Bay has had 2 poor starts in game 1 and game 2, and then game 3 again. It just didn't go their way. Kucherov and all the other guys up there were very frustrated, trying to get something by Sergei Bobrovsky, and it just never ended up happening. So I don't think the mileage has been a huge factor in the series. I think just clearly the Florida Panthers are the better team right now, and they're taking it to the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Can't disagree there, my friend. And look, not like any game in the playoffs isn't critical, but they roll into Tampa Bay and they get dusted the other night, and it's 2-1 headed into game 4. You and I have talked about Emily Arena and it being a fortress.
Yeah.
That's out the window now too. So whatever you were clinging to as a Tampa Bay Lightning fan, and I would say that was probably the most decisive victory of the series in game 3 on the road for the Florida Panthers, a team that is clearly now, Steele, really flexing its muscle and feeling it. We're going to do the same after the break, but let's first get to very quickly the New York Islanders, just very quickly. We only need to spend 2 minutes on these guys because we'll save the rest of the talking points for what we really want to say. I just don't know what's going on with how they're deploying the goaltenders. And that's my question for you. Because, look, I get Patrick Waugh knows a whole lot more about hockey than you and I combined. I know this guy came in and really was a big reason that they made a push. You just made a huge commitment to Sorokin. He has also been a perennial top 5 Vezina finisher. I know he has been up and down. I don't get how they're having such a short leash with this guy, especially when you have the commitment. This guy's the goalie for the next number of years. They just paid him. So I don't know what the coach is doing with the deployment here, Steele. And what do you think about this short leash and the tendency to return to Varlamov, which is no disrespect to him. I just don't like how this is being done. And they better dust off the old irons because they're hitting the links very soon.
Look, I absolutely love Patrick Waugh behind the bench of the New York Islanders. I like him as a coach. I love that he's back in the NHL.
Me too.
I like what he's done with the team so far, but I don't like what he's done with the goaltending. And exactly what you just said, to me, it makes no sense. Ilya Sorokin is the goaltending of the New York Islanders of the future. He's the guy. And I understand he has a gut feeling with Varlamov. He's used to him with the days back in Colorado. I mean, even again, and it's no disrespect to Semyon Varlamov, because I even said it the other day, he's played really good so far in this series against the Carolina Hurricanes.
In this season.
They could have won game 1. They should have won game 2. They were up 3-0, weren't they?
Yeah,
and then they come back. Yeah, they should have won game 2, and then they played one of the most passive games when they were up 3-0, 3-1. They let the gas off. They took their foot off the gas and they let up. So I think, again, this is just a very, very strong Carolina Hurricanes team. And I said it before, and I said this to you off the air when we were chatting, just watching the games. I feel like an absolute baboon taking the New York Islanders to win this series. When I said it before, look, they also go out and get Evgeny Kuznetsov and Jake Gensel, which is huge for them. Huge. But I said this before in the regular season. Andrei Svechnikov is the guy who gets them going physically and offensively. He sets up his teammates. He's a big guy. He lays the body, and he's doing that right now against the New York Islanders. So Andrei Svechnikov, Jake Gensel, all these guys, Brady Shea's an X factor, like I said. Freddie Anderson is standing on his head as well. He's played some really good hockey. This is a very strong Carolina Hurricanes team. I don't know why I picked the New York Islanders. Again, I really like them in the regular season. I like where the team's heading, but I have also said this in the past. They need to get younger. They need to get faster. They need to clear some of that cap space in their forward group.
Well, my one prediction in terms of the Cup final with Carolina is looking decent. Dallas in the final is maybe not looking as good, Steele. We'll talk about them right after the break. And we have some things to say about Bruins-Leafs, Willie Styles. I got to call out the Toronto fan base. You're going to be in the building tonight, Steele. I hope you're making some noise in there, and I hope you're holding fans accountable. Because when Joe Bowen's out in the media taking shots at the fan base and calling you out, Leafs fans, respond, do something. We'll do something right after the break, and that brings more NHL coverage to the Head Tops. Today's episode is brought to you by Monopoly Go. Oh, yeah, we have a competitive side, and our competitive side is a big fan of Monopoly Go. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's been downloaded over 150 million times. It's the twist on the classic Monopoly. And where you play, there's hundreds of Monopoly boards in crazy locations, building up cities that bring you big money. The best part, you get to mess with your friends, charge them rent on iconic properties. Head to the leaderboards and check out who's got the most loot going as the head Monopoly tycoon. And it's not just a competitive side that loves it. You can team up with friends, people around the world in time tournaments, and earn huge rewards. Get in the game and join your friends. Download Monopoly Go right now for free on the App Store or on Google Play.
Pulling up to Mickey D's just for drinks? Oh, yeah, that's me. Nothing extra, just perfection and a straw. Coming in hot for the coldest cups on the block. Because there are drinks. Then there are drinks from McDonald's.
Ever combine an ice-cold frozen Coke with piping hot fries? Try frozen drinks any size for $1.49. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
And thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast your first listen every single day. Continue to hit the subscribe, the follow button, leave a 5-star review. We appreciate all that love and support you show us Monday through Friday. 7 o'clock in the morning is when you can find our episodes. We're going to get to big time bets at the end of the episode. We're going to get to the Toronto Maple Leafs and Boston Bruins. I will be in the building for Game 4. I'm going to be posting on Twitter, videos, tweets, everything you need to know. Don't worry, Flip. I'm going to get the crowd going. I'll be shouting at the top as loud as I can go.
Okay.
I'm going to try to get there. But before we get to the Bruins-Leafs series, let's talk about the Dallas Stars, who you said you have going all the way to the Cup Finals, but that might be cut short by this Vegas Golden Knights team that is up 2-0, won both games on the road and heading back to Vegas for Game 3 and 4.
Yeah. So, number one, this is when, hey, look, Steele, you and I throw out a lot of predictions on this show. We cover every single team in the NHL. So sometimes some of the things we throw out there are going to be wrong. And I'm not going to write them off completely because they have a really big opportunity. Friday night, we don't know what's going to happen yet. The game hasn't finished. But look, they need to do something, Steele. And I'm not even going to necessarily look at Jake Ottinger, even though he hasn't faced a ton of shots and he's let in a couple of softies. He's been pretty good for the most part. I'm looking at Rupe Hintz. I'm looking at the guys that they relied on all season long. I'm looking at those veterans, Jamie Benn, Tyler Seguin. I don't think it's fair to look at guys like Wyatt Johnson and Logan Stankoven, even though they're young and they are big pieces and reasons why the Stars basically cakewalked the whole season. It's got to go on these veteran guys who have been here before. I think the blue line has been very good. I just think also, Steele, there's something to be said about, I forget which team that you were just talking about. They've just been flat out better. The Vegas Golden Knights have just been flat out better. And when it comes to the postseason, you got to take that game to the next level. And the Vegas Golden Knights, this group especially knows how to do that. And they just did it. Number 2, Jack Eichel looking unreal. And number 3, Barbashev, the new additions, Hanifin again. This Vegas Golden Knights front office needs to take a bow because all of the pieces that they've brought in over the last 2 years, Steele, and this happens in the NHL at trade deadline, it doesn't always work out. It's seemingly the opposite for this team. It always works out, and it's doing so once again. And the Dallas Stars are on the ropes here, headed into one of the hardest buildings to play in on the Strip.
Yeah, one of the hardest buildings to go into, down 0-2 in this series. And I'm just going to say this right now. It's over. It is over for the Dallas Stars. I had Vegas in 7 anyways, and I believe you had the Stars in 7.
Yeah.
To me, it's over. You win 2 games on the road, massive games for the Vegas Golden Knights. You're going back to Vegas. Even if they get 1 and you're still up 3-1, they potentially win this in 6. I think the Vegas Golden Knights have a really good chance of sweeping them. And you said it yourself. Look at the guys who are not showing up right now. Rupe Hintz, Jamie Benn, Tyler Seguin, Joe Pavelski, and even my X factors. I know Miro Heiskanen has 2 assists, but he's the only defenseman that has a point right now. And the defensive group right now is not strong enough compared to the Vegas Golden Knights. And that's why I chose Vegas over the Dallas Stars. Is the defensive group is so much better in Vegas than it is in Dallas right now. And Noah Hanifin, Shea Theodore, Braden McNabb, they're chipping in. They're getting things done right now. And then you have the offense on top of that. So for me, I had the Vegas all the way. I really do see, with Florida, with Carolina, with Vegas, and even the New York Rangers. I know we haven't seen game 3 yet, but with all 4 of those teams, we could potentially see 4 sweeps in this first round series, because that's what it's looking to be like right now.
The Eastern Conference, I'm going to fully agree. Hey, look, they're up 2-0 again. They could be up 3-0. This game 3 is going to be obviously pivotal, I believe, actually, in NHL history. In the playoffs, only 4 teams have come back from a 3-0 deficit. I think the last one was the LA Kings, actually, 2014.
LA Kings, yeah.
They won the Cup that year.
The Cup.
So, anyhow, let's move on, because a lot of what will need to be discussed is if they do lose game 3 on Friday night. You and I will break it all down. We'll be back Monday. We're running it all playoffs long, Monday through Friday. Also, make sure you're tuned and tapped in. Make sure you also drop us those reviews, 5 stars. We appreciate it. Steele, I might be seeing stars, and no, not in Dallas. I'm going to come on here and say this, Steele. Number 1, I'm going to take a deep breath. Number 2, as much as Brad Marchand really bothers me, the Toronto Maple Leafs cannot play into this guy's hands. He wants them to react. Number 2, what is Tyler Bertuzzi doing? I have a serious problem when he is all over the ice like this. When you do that, you have to do what Brad Marchand does, and you have to back it up. Tyler Bertuzzi's out there running around, taking sticks, taking dumb penalties, a whole bunch of them, and really costing his team. And if you're not doing what Brad Marchand does and scores big-time goals, by the way, that was his 12th postseason game-winning goal in his career. That's most in Boston Bruins history, a very checkered and franchise history, passes Cam Neely Steele. So those are my number 1 takeaways. I think Swayman was huge when it counted. I actually think Sammy was pretty solid as well. I know I'm throwing a lot at you right now, Steele. And lastly, it's that crowd in Toronto, man. That's straight up embarrassing. And when you have fan bases, and say what you will about the Vancouver fans, the Jets fans, and Edmonton Oilers fans, when you're seeing the buildings rock like that, and then the Toronto place, you can hear a sushi roll drop and a Vino Tinto rock around in the glass because there's too many fancy pants. It's a joke. So I'm happy you're in the building tonight. And hit me with your take on, maybe not all of that because it was a lot, but start wherever you'd like to start. And I'll take a little breath here and a little sip.
I'll start with your last point about the building and the barn. And to me, that's the one thing that really sucks about Toronto and Scotiabank Arena is the crowd at the home games, even in the especially in the regular season. I mean, it's all suits, it's all guys talking business. Where I have family tickets, it's section 108, center ice, row 20. Like, it's the perfect spot to watch a hockey game. You can see both ends perfectly. And especially at home games, you're just sitting with everyone in suits. No one's in a Leafs jersey. I'm the only one in a Leafs jersey in that section. And nobody's fired up. They're not watching the game. And the crowd is abysmal compared to other teams across the NHL. So to me, that's the one thing that really blows about Scotiabank Arena is that the crowd is just not into it. They'd rather be on their phones. They'd rather be talking to their buddy. And I'm all for having a chat and whatnot, but watch the damn game. Support your team. Support the Toronto Maple Leafs at home, in the playoffs, in the building, and make the barn rock. Because that's what all these other crowds are doing. All the other fans across in the playoffs right now, that's what they're doing for their home team. And it really does make a difference. The atmosphere is huge. That's the whole point of having the home ice advantage. I know, like, technically they don't, but when you're at home, it's an advantage for you. So it hasn't been so far. It's going to change game 4 when I'm in the building. We're going to continue this conversation because I've got a few more points I want to talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs, and then we'll get to big time bets. But first, this episode is brought to you by Indeed. When you're drafting your fantasy team, do you ever wish you could do the same thing with your business team? If you're building a roster to win the league, you need Indeed. Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Find top talent fast with Indeed's suite of powerful hiring tools like Indeed Instant Match, assessments, and virtual interviews. Something I love about Indeed is that it makes hiring in one place so easy, because with Instant Match, Indeed does the hard work for you. Sponsor a job and boom, Instant Match shows you candidates whose resumes on Indeed fit your job description immediately after you post. With Instant Match, you can start hiring fast. Indeed knows when you're growing your own business, you have to make every dollar count. That's why with Indeed, you only pay for quality applications that match your must-have job requirements. Visit Indeed.com/lockedon to start hiring now. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon, Indeed.com/lockedon. Terms and conditions apply. Cost per application pricing not available for everyone. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
We all have that friend who wakes up early to go get everyone McDonald's breakfast, while the rest of us sleep in. This is your sign to thank them. And if you're that friend, this is us saying thank you.
Just a friendly reminder that right now, get any size iced coffee before 11 a.m. for just 99 cents. And a satisfying sausage McMuffin with egg is just $2.79. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
And once again, thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast your first listen every single day. Continue to hit the subscribe button, the follow button, leave a 5-star review. We appreciate all that love and support you show us Monday through Friday, 7 o'clock in the mornings when you can find our episodes. We are going to get to big time bets very, very soon. But two more points I want to make about this series between the Bruins and Leafs. Okay. And I want to talk about the Boston Bruins right now real quickly. Sure. Jeremy Swayman is making a case as one of the best goaltenders in the world.
Guaranteed, yeah.
He definitely needs to be in that conversation when we do top 5s and top 10s in the offseason and fantasy rankings for next year. He is going to be in that conversation. He is incredible. And I know Jim Montgomery, he likes going back and forth, doing the splits between
I don't know why.
Linus Ullmark. Hey, it's worked for them. It's worked for them in the regular season.
In the regular season.
I think everyone could agree on this, that it should be Jeremy Swayman in the crease moving forward.
I can't believe we're even talking about that. That's a possibility that he's not. But
look, these are both great goaltenders. One's just better than the other. Linus Ullmark is still a stud. I'm not saying that he's not, because I really like Linus Ullmark. Jeremy Swayman is just better. Yep. And he's younger and he's greater and he's doing it right now. And he's
more better.
He's more better. He's got the Leafs number. He's 5-0 on the season against the Maple Leafs right now. So he's in that conversation for best goaltenders. And before I throw it back over to you real quick, I just got to quickly again on Mitch Marner. I mean, I really, really cannot stand this guy in the postseason. He made one incredible play to set up Matthew Nyes on that first goal, and he cost us the Jake DeBrusk goal on the PK, and he cost us another one after that. He has been brutal. He's too passive. He doesn't forecheck. He doesn't get physical. I know that's not his game, but in the playoffs, you have to do that a little bit.
You have to at least try.
You have to at least try. Make it look like you're actually hitting somebody a little bit, but he's not. He's super passive. He forces passes. He turns the puck over way too much. And I'm really not liking his game right now for Toronto.
You know what, Steele? Oh, boy. It's, look, we've just been through the ringer with this club, right? And we know the only way that they can decisively win, and we'll take it any way we can, but when it comes against the Bruins and a goaltender that, number one, I'll start with Swayman, he looks like he's in that kind of zone where a goaltender settles in, and you've played enough hockey. You can almost see it in his eyes. Your boy's just cooking. Goalies get that kind of kooky look in their eye, and it doesn't matter if he takes 6 slashes in the neck. He's just going to look at the other team and go, ha-ha, Pete the scoreboard.
Yeah.
And that's what Swayman is doing. And if he continues to settle in like that, it won't matter how much missing in action Mitch and I don't know where's Willie does, because it'll be too little too late. Obviously, Saturday night, they have another squandered opportunity in Game 3.
Yeah.
This is your last opportunity. Boston's not going to let you off the hook like Tampa Bay did last year. It's not going to happen. They're also hungry after blowing it last year. They have clearly been one of the best teams in the NHL in the regular season. Brad Marchand, we don't need to talk about it. I'll leave it at this. If the Toronto Maple Leafs don't capitalize on their chances on the man advantage, this series is over. It's done.
Yeah.
Because the only way that they can get a leg up is, and you know me with the special team steal.
Yeah.
You can't allow your team, and Boston's been taking some bad penalties. They haven't been as disciplined as I thought they would be, and Toronto's letting them off the hook. They cannot do that in Game 4 tonight, Steele. They need to score on the power play at least once or twice, and they need 34 to absolutely cook. Tease to my lock of the night. Over to you for your final take there, and let's hit these bets.
All right, let's just get right over to big time bets because I'm absolutely feeling it, and I'm going with the same narrative and the same aspect or same perspective for all three of these picks. It's a must-win game for all three of these teams, especially for two of them, but it's a must-win game for three of these teams and three of these picks. First pick, Lightning on the money line at -102. Pretty bad game in Game 3 for the Lightning. They're a strong team at home. I'm going back with the Lightning on the money line at -102 for my first pick. Same goes for the Islanders money line at +150. These are two teams. Again, they need this win or their season's over. I think the Islanders can pull out at least one win, not get swept. Same with the Lightning. So Lightning money line -102, Islanders money line +150, and same goes for the Leafs. I know it's not a must-win game, but it is a must-win game. They need to tie this series. They need to tie this series 2 apiece. Maple Leafs on the money line -120. That's my lock of the night.
First pick, Leafs money line, same angle. They have also been in both of the first game was a wipe. They didn't show up. They kind of played their hearts out in the first period. They got real close. Swayman shut the door and they shut off.
Yeah.
Boston dusted them. But the last two obviously get the win in Game 2. But the last two, they've been very much in it. So Leafs money line, that's the first pick. I'm going with the most desperate club I think we're looking at aside from the two on the brink and the Dallas Stars on the money line. I've just spoken way too much about this club, and when they do roll those three lines, that's when they're going to be able to capitalize on the weaker bottom six for Vegas. Obviously, blue line will give the edge, but also no disrespect to Logan Thompson. It was Aiden Hill in there getting it done last year. Logan Thompson is not nearly as battle-tested. Is he as good? Perhaps. He's definitely shown that he can do it. Not trying to take away from him at all. But this is doable for the Dallas Stars if their offense rolls. It just hasn't shown up. So you're really making the Vegas Golden Knights look even better. Jason Robertson's the only forward who's looked comfortable in the series, in my opinion. Dallas on the money line -104 is my second pick. At the end of the season, Steele, I don't know if you were taking a look at the shot totals for Austin Matthews. If he even replicates a shred of what he was doing in terms of shots on net, 5 shots on goal, 5+ shots on goal is my lock of the night for Austin Matthews, -170. He's got to just do what he does best and fire that bad boy. And I think, actually, that's what you're going to see in a very big way. I would also lean to Maple Leafs on the first period puck line, not even puck line, sorry, just on the money line, I think they need to come out guns a-blazing, and that's going to be 34. So lock of the night, Austin Matthews, 5+ shots, -170.
Love the lock of the night, and that's exactly what the Maple Leafs need out of their best player, Austin Matthews, number 34. Thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast your first listen every single day. Once again, go check out Locked On Sports Today, the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with local experts, plus the national shows covering every single league. Go subscribe to the channel. You can also find it on the free Amazon Fire TV channel app, so go check it out there. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in for today's episode, the Saturday Special with Flip and I. Have a great day. Good luck with your bets tonight, and we shall see you back here again on Monday.
Peace.
Today's Locked On Podcast is brought to you by our friends over there at Nissan. Are you the kind of driver that likes to push things a little further? Ever wonder what adventure could be around the next corner? Nissan's SUVs have the capabilities to take your adventure to the next level. The 2024 Nissan Rogue alone carries class-exclusive Google built-in technology that's perfect for city drives or great escapes. Take the Nissan Rogue, Nissan Pathfinder, or Nissan Armada and go find your next big adventure. Shop NissanUSA.com.
We all have that friend who wakes up early to go get everyone McDonald's breakfast, while the rest of us sleep in. This is your sign to thank them. And if you're that friend, this is us saying thank you.
Just a friendly reminder that right now, get any size iced coffee before 11 a.m. for just 99 cents. And a satisfying sausage McMuffin with egg is just $2.79. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
The living room is where you make life's most beautiful memories. But your sofa shouldn't be the one remembering them. The new life-resistant, high-performance furniture collection from Ashley is designed to withstand all the spills, slip-ups, and muddy paws that come with the best parts of life. Ashley high-performance sofas and recliners are soft, on-trend, and easy to clean. Shop the high-performance furniture in-store or online at ashley.com. Ashley, for the love of home.